everyone, Sam here. Sorry to interrupt your listening experience. I know you are dying to get back to the latest episode of Me vs. You, but I'm just going to take a moment to introduce you to our new sponsor and our new host, Anchor FM. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Mandy and I are all about easy, so we recently made the switch to Anchor, and we are loving it. Here's some highlights about Anchor in case you are thinking of starting that podcast you've been dreaming about. First of all, it's free. Can't go wrong with free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Again, can't get any easier than this. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. Anywhere you can hear a podcast, Anchor FM is getting it there. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. To get started, download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Thank you for listening and enjoy the episode. A podcast where two best friends force each other to watch movies they wouldn't ordinarily pick and then see if they're still friends when it's all over. I'm Sam.
And I'm Mandy.
Are we still friends?
Hell yeah.
I should hope so. I have been living in your apartment for a week.
I know, right? It would be really awful to me to be like, no, we're not friends. Get the fuck out.
Well, at least I'm already packed.
True. That's true. You're packed and ready to go. So get the fuck out.
Cool.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Me vs. You. This week has been the last episode.
You wish.
No, I don't.
You wish, because
I like this podcast.
You want to get out of writing book reports.
No, I know that we've been doing this for a really long time, and at the beginning of this podcast was rough.
Sure.
But, I really like this podcast. I think I'm finally starting to actually comprehend what we do here.
It only took 3 years, and now you get it.
I am. I think they understand, too. I think you listeners are starting to understand, we're picking movies that are really good picks for the podcast. We're having intellectual conversations now.
This is what I wanted 3 years ago. Yes.
I'm slowly getting there.
It's a learning process.
Yeah.
But we are recording this bonus because we did not really properly allot ourselves time to do a full episode.
We had too much fun.
Yeah, we had a great time, and it was very much more important that we hang out and enjoy each other's company than watch movies and do book reports on them. So apologies, but we're just going to mostly be talking about the new phenomenon that we made Mandy marathon this past week. Good Omens. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good Omens.
Good Omens was so good.
We marathoned the whole thing over the course of a few days, mostly because we were watching at night after days full of super fun stuff. And
we were exhausted, and I was just laying on the couch going, give me all the David Tennant, please.
And the reason that we didn't finish it all at once is because I had to keep reminding everyone, I'm a morning person. It's nighttime and I'm tired.
Yeah, I was but it's 9 o'clock. And you're yeah, but it's 7 o'clock my time and I'm sleepy. And I'm again, does not compute, but okay.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of it. So I'm getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm oh my God, I'm sleeping in. I'm oh, but it's 6 a.m. California time, so that's not bad. Mm-hmm. And then the second I see on my watch 8 o'clock, my body starts to get tired. It's just a response to it, even though in my brain I'm it's only 6 California time. You are fine. And no, I'm not fine.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
As I said yesterday, I enjoy sleeping as it's not a social activity, and it's one of the few times in my day that I am not forced to interact with other people.
Yes, it's true. So we've had a ton of fun.
We've done a lot of fun stuff over the past few days, including, scavenger hunts and ice cream and
so much cheese.
I haven't even eaten that much cheese. I've just bought a lot of cheese.
Also mustard, which wasn't for Sam. It was for my boyfriend because we discovered that on a scale of 1 to 10, Sam's love of cheese is a 12.
as I have repeatedly said through
Yes.
this entire vacation, is I'm here to see cheese and then see Mandy.
Yes. But my boyfriend's love of mustard is on a scale of 1 to 10, a 12. And about 10 minutes away from where I live in Wisconsin is the Natural Museum of Mustard.
The National Mustard Museum.
Yes.
Which was pretty dope.
It was fucking dope. So we went and we spent way too much money on mustard. And we have spent the rest of the week eating pretzels and mustards.
Yeah.
And we also went to a lavender garden.
Yep. We took fake engagement photos, which was really fun.
We took fake engagement photos that actually tricked people into texting me going, "You got engaged?"
It was just a lot of people from college being like, they're finally just admitting it.
Yeah.
They're finally just coming out with it.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, we went to a place called Wizard's Quest in Wisconsin, which was basically an adult scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Through 4 magical realms.
And there were slides and tunnels, and I messed up my ankle again, but worth it because I paid for slides and tunnels, you know?
And Joe also messed up his ankle. I'm the only one who came out unscathed, which is unfathomable to me.
Well, you went in broken, so you came out the same.
Fair enough. But it was a lot of fun. We beat it with 18 minutes to spare, 15 minutes to spare, something like that.
Yeah.
Highly recommend if you ever come to northern Wisconsin for a vacation.
If you're ever like, I would love to go on vacation, but I don't want anything beach or anything snow. The Wisconsin Dells.
The Wisconsin Dells are actually a pretty big tourist attraction. There's a lot of water parks and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And a lot of things like Wizard Quest. But it's a lot of fun. It's relatively inexpensive for you get an hour of entertainment.
Yeah. And one thing that's really nice is like the intro stuff. So the training and the getting the basic layout doesn't count towards your 60 minutes of solving the scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
So we had a good 15 minutes where it was like, all right, here's your tutorial. You need to find this one jerk. And we're like,
Where is this jerk? Where was he? In a well. In a fucking
well, actually.
Yeah.
I made that joke then too.
This week's episode of Me vs. You is brought to you by the great state of Wisconsin.
Yes.
And cheese.
I haven't eaten very much cheese though because you're lactose intolerant and your boyfriend is vegan. So I feel bad asking for cheese.
You don't have to feel bad for asking for cheese.
I want more cheese.
We have cheese.
I want more cheese.
Okay. We can stop and get more cheese.
Yes.
We can always stop and get more cheese.
Let's talk a little bit about Good Omens.
Okay, let's go back to Good Omens.
All right, so Good Omens was directed by Douglas McKinnon and some other projects that he's worked on. He directed episodes of Sherlock.
Okay.
So it's the same vibe, I'm sure. He also directed a few episodes of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which is a show that I really, really love, but really don't want to because it was written and created by Max Landis, who sucks. But the show is really fun.
Why do I know that name?
He wrote Bright.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing that, like, you want to like it, but it sucked.
Yeah.
It didn't suck. It got a really bad rap.
It had problems.
It set a lot of things up that didn't pay off. It had potential. But anyway, written by Neil Gaiman, based on the novel Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett, unfortunately deceased, so he was not involved with the production of the project. It premiered in 2019. And I think one of the last trips that I was out here, we watched like the first episode. There's only 6 episodes available on Amazon Prime. And you were like, I really like this. And then promptly forgot about it.
Yeah.
Which is...
It tracks.
Par for the course for you.
Yeah.
So we put it on again, and you immediately were like, I regret not following up on this.
Yes, it was epic and amazing, and...
There's a train going by.
There's a train.
Very nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I'm not used to hearing train sounds in Southern California anymore, so I'm like, oh, train!
Yeah. I'm also very close to the highway.
Yeah.
So you will hear highway noises.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the cast of Good Omens, it's a lot of people you recognized.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we have David Tennant and Michael Sheen. Mm-hmm. Then we have Frances McDormand as the voice of God, as it should be.
Correct.
Sam Taylor Buck played young Adam.
Yep.
We have, this is going in order by appearance. We have Adria Arjona, who played Anathema Device. John Hamm, of course, as the Angel Gabriel.
I love it.
Jack Whitehall as Newton Pulsifer, and also his predecessor, Thou Shalt Not Commit Adultery Pulsifer, who was him in a fake beard, and it was great. Michael McKean.
Which was just beautiful.
Yeah. As Witchfinder Sergeant Shadwell. Miranda Richardson as Madame Tracy. And then just so many more people.
Yeah, it was chock
huge cast of people.
Of people who you probably have seen in other things if you don't recognize their names or faces. Like,
yeah.
You've seen them in other things.
You've seen them in other production things, of course.
Yeah.
So you liked it.
Oh, I really liked it.
Yeah.
And then you told me that there is a second season in production.
Second season is in production. So we talked about it briefly. The show leaves it open-ended for a second season, which most shows do, even if they know they're going to be a limited series. It always depends on the popularity, you know. A lot of things leave it open for reboots or picking up where they left off, things like that. And then also... Neil Gaiman, as a petty bitch, was like, oh, Catholics are really, really upset about this. Season 2, let's do it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do anything without, like, Terry's blessing, really.
Yeah.
And Terry would have done this wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I feel like Terry wrote this for a reason. And I feel like if Terry would have seen the Catholics outraged, he would have been like, another season, please.
Yeah, for all, I've never read anything by Terry Pratchett, but from all accounts, he was a good dude.
Yeah.
He was a good dude. But I'm glad you liked it, and I knew that you would, because it's got a lot of the actors in it that you like, and you're so character-driven, and... Crowley and Aziraphale are two incredibly interesting characters, surrounded by interesting characters, like the Angel Gabriel is just a really fun character.
Yeah.
Shadwell is really interesting.
Well, I was sitting there trying to just piece together, like, okay, so are they turning each other? You know, is Crowley turning good? Is Aziraphale turning bad? Like, I was sitting there going all these things, so, like... Spoilers if you haven't seen it, I apologize. So at the end in the last episode when Crowley's taking the holy water bath, I'm like, he's turned so good that it doesn't affect him anymore. Like, I was so pumped, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's not what happened. But
no.
Yeah.
But like, that's what I thought.
Well, and that's kind of what the two sides are led to believe. So they both go against their direct orders and are being punished. And unbeknownst to them and the audience, they've swapped places.
Yeah.
So Aziraphale isn't affected by holy water, and Crowley isn't affected by hellfire. But everyone assumes that they've gone native, that they've spent so much time on Earth that they have more humanity in them than angel or demon.
Yeah.
Which is really, really interesting. Let's talk about them a little bit as characters. Let's start with Aziraphale, who is you as a person. What characteristics about him did you enjoy the most, you think?
He enjoyed the pleasures.
Simple pleasures.
Like,
a well-prepared meal, a good book,
a
cup of tea.
That was it. That's all they really wanted. Like, and they just enjoyed it. And, like, but whenever something bad would come up or anything, like, negative happened, they just panicked.
Yeah.
They just panicked.
They would immediately be like, Crowley, we need you to do this.
We need your help, we need your help, we need your help, I need you to do this.
Yep.
But when it really came down to it and Crowley was having a moment, they did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of Aziraphale. I'm going to say his name wrong the whole time. I'm going to say his name wrong the whole time because I cannot form the words of it.
You have already. It's fine.
Is when it comes down to it, he has the ability. He has it in him to do what needs to be done. He just acknowledges that he shouldn't do it. And he knows it's wrong. But he can for the betterment and the goodness of the world. And humanity.
He very early on in the timeline of him being on Earth, he is one of the guardians of the tree of apples in the Garden of Eden. He acknowledges very early on that sometimes doing the right thing isn't the good thing.
Yep.
Like giving his flaming sword to Adam and Eve because they have been, told to leave Eden, and she's with child and they have no way to defend themselves. He very early on in existence questions the status quo.
Yep.
And like I said, the good thing isn't always the right thing. And that side constantly talks about the divine plan, the ineffable plan, that leaves no room for free will or questions of any kind. Just do what you're told.
Yep.
Which is a very Catholic response.
Oh, absolutely. Which also I want to
don't bring too much logic into this.
I also want to bring up this whole, because the whole first season was the divine plan.
Yes.
So if we go back to the Adam and Eve in the first episode, it was set for Crowley to tell them to leave.
Crowley.
It was set for him to tell them to leave. They were supposed to leave.
Well, Crowley was supposed to tempt them.
Yes.
Temptation is a two-way street. I can tempt you all I want. It's on you if you take the temptation.
But they were supposed to leave.
Well, according to a divine plan, yes. But ideally, no, they weren't supposed to leave. I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
I don't know. I don't
know why you're looking at me like that.
I don't know. I don't know.
That hard stare is a little harder in person.
I'm thinking more to my I'm debating religious theory in my head.
Yeah, you're thinking your Catholic upbringing. I'm thinking more of what we saw on the TV.
Yeah.
So you have Aziraphale, who very quickly figures out that his existence is a set of conflicting ideals, where he's expected to do what's good and what's right, and they are not always the same thing.
Yep.
And then you have Crowley, who kind of the same but opposite, in a very contradictory statement, he spends a lot of time fucking around.
Yep.
And he gets shit done.
He does what he has to do as quickly as possible to get back to what he wants to do.
He gets stuff done, for sure, but he also shirks his responsibilities to enjoy himself, which is what every good Catholic thinks that a non-Catholic person is doing. They're just reveling in sin. So, they get mad that Crowley isn't the most structured or reliable or, he's not the most active person. And he's like, yeah, I'm sinning it up over here.
Yeah. Well, because
I'm a demon.
The demons are the complete opposites of the angels.
They're presented as the complete opposites of the angels.
But not really.
But they have the same bureaucracy.
Same exact structure, just in the opposite direction.
Just they're working towards different end goals, but the operational logistics are the same.
Because they're angels.
They're still told not to question the divine plan.
Well, that's the thing, because they're still angels.
They're fallen
just
angels.
Outcast angels.
Yeah. So, it's that juxtaposition is really interesting because both Crowley and Aziraphale are like, well, do we need to kill everyone so that you can have a winner?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting. It's a very interesting way to analyze this organized religion without getting too bogged down in the
specifics
minutia
of the religion.
Yeah, they mention Jesus. They are there for the crucifixion of Jesus.
Yeah, but they don't spend a lot of time there.
No, and they don't get into religious doctrines and the popes and blah, blah, blah. It's very much the day-to-day, overall grand issues.
It's the grand plan.
It's the overall, I want to say vibe, because I've been in Southern California too long. It's the overall vibe of organized religion.
Yeah, very much. And coming from organized religion, that's kind of how it feels. It's just shut up and do what we tell you and don't ask questions. But they asked questions, and they lived in it, and they're looking at these people, and they're going, but why are we killing these people? They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Why are we ending this world? They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And even the Antichrist was like, I don't wanna.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want this. And they're like, you have to. And he's like,
no, I don't.
No,
No, I don't.
I'm 11. I don't have to do shit. Like,
yeah.
I love that the Antichrist shows up at 11 is when everything happens, because 11-year-olds are the fucking worst. They're not quite teenagers and they're not quite young children. They're opinionated for no fucking reason.
And they're chaos.
They're pure chaos.
Well, I think that's the beautiful analogy of it.
Yeah.
It's the apocalypse is chaos.
Yeah.
And an 11-year-old is chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. As someone coming from not organized religion, one thing that it very easily could have done but did not do is it was not heavy-handed. Like,
oh, it definitely wasn't heavy.
the devils were presented just as unlikable as the angels. So there was no clear favoritism. There was no, well, you should be rooting for Aziraphale and not Crowley.
Yeah, well, actually, and even they were like, there is no angels, there is no demons, there is only us.
Right.
And it wasn't angels versus demons. It was Crowley and Aziraphale versus them.
And that's what they say at the end, where they're setting up season 2, or our possibility for season 2 is Crowley says, I don't think that the big battle is going to be between heaven and hell. It's going to be them against humanity.
Yeah.
Because the only ones who stand in the way of this regimented structure is humanity, who have free will, and they have opinions on things and stuff like that. And it very easily could have been a heavy-handed, religious allegory, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It pointed out contradictions within like Aziraphale at one point.
Which is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing.
It really is. One of Aziraphale's comments is like, I can't kill anyone. I'm supposed to be the good guy. And Crowley's like, yeah, but you kill one person, you save all the people.
Yeah.
Like, that's
isn't that an actual, that's a test?
That's a trolley problem.
I think, I couldn't think of what it was called. Yeah, it's a test people give.
It's more of a philosophy test type thing, not like a SAT test. But but it's an interesting thing where Aziraphale is like, no, I'm the good one. I'm not supposed to murder people. And Crowley's like, oh, so you just want me to do your dirty work for you then?
He's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, and that's a problem. Mm-hmm. Like,
that's toxic.
That is how, and Aziraphale struggles to deal with that because he wants to find the good in everything. Sometimes you gotta kill a person to save everyone.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do the dirty work yourself.
And that's why it's what is good is not always right.
Yeah.
And what is right is not always good. What pulled you in?
I was really into it from the beginning. Like,
the voice of God.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
And I, as unreligious as I am
now,
am extremely into religious media.
Well, you're not into propaganda. You're into explorations of religion. You're into that.
I don't watch Passion of the Christ.
You're into that dreaded religions of the world type scenario that, like, you want to know, like, you're more interested in belief than you are religion.
Yeah.
So yours is twofold. One, you like belief systems, like you like having, these spirituality discussions.
I like learning about different spiritualities as well.
Yeah, so that's one part of it. And then the other facet of it for you is you were so entrenched in Catholicism for such a long time, you love seeing it fucking torn apart.
True. And I love watching David Tennant do it.
But it's like seeing someone that you don't like fall through a series of minor inconveniences, and you're just like, yeah, fuck you. Like...
Yeah, you're right.
It's like finding out that the one employee in the office that you don't like has a flat tire and they have to get their car towed, and you're like, sucks to suck. Like, it's that kind of vindication for you. Yes.
Yeah.
Did anything pull you out? Was anything too much?
No, I was really invested the whole time.
It's knowing Neil Gaiman is attached means that you know that there's some Neil Gaiman staples. Like, he's a big fan of having multiple main characters. So in the show, you switch between Aziraphale and Crowley to Anathema and ultimately Pulsifer, and you switch to Shadwell, and you switch to Adam and the kids.
Yep, and it never felt too much.
And but that's kind of his thing, and he wrote every episode. He wrote the whole screenplay for the show. So knowing he's involved means that you have certain expectations.
Yeah.
So where if someone came into this cold, not knowing anything about it, it can be a little jarring that there's this really odd opening animation sequence, and then Frances McDormand is just talking to you about stuff, and then wait, he's a demon. Like, it could very easily be chaos from beginning to end, but you had your expectation, like it met your expectations for that.
I trusted.
Yeah. I personally, I haven't read a ton of Neil Gaiman's work. I read Good Omens. It was a good read. I don't love it. I don't love his writing style. I fucking slogged through American Gods, which is one of his most famous books. And they turned it into a TV show on Starz, and I haven't watched it. It took me years to finish that book. Picking it up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down. And I figured out, reading Good Omens, that the parts I liked best were the parts that were clearly Terry Pratchett.
That makes sense.
So I think it might be is that I've seen a lot of Neil Gaiman works produced for television and adapted. So it sounds better to me performed. It's almost like a Shakespeare effect. It's like I can't sit down and read the complete works of William Shakespeare, but I'll go see every play performed. A situation like that. Did you have a favorite character?
Crowley.
Yeah?
Crowley.
He had a lot of fun.
Oh, he had a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Nice.
I pleased myself on that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
My favorite character?
Yeah.
Also Crowley. I really liked... We talked about this, is I love seeing actors go against type, so seeing Jack Whitehall as like a snivelly nerd was really fun.
That was cute.
I'm just
John
like...
Hamm was good too.
He actually, I don't know a ton about it, but I know he's in talks to like star in a comedy movie, because he never stars in comedy movies. He's always a supporting person in a comedy movie, like in Bridesmaids.
Yes.
He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's really good.
Like, he plays up the fact that he looks like any random motherfucker, right? Like, he is just an average straight white man who says the most outlandish things like, "Thank you for your pornography."
Yeah.
And he nails it. Like, he knows what he's doing. It's just not fair that someone can be that handsome and funny.
Yeah, it's rude.
It's rude. It's rude, and it's selfish.
And not generally sweet.
We did get to meet him once in New York, and he is actually just super nice.
He's so nice.
So, yeah. Like, it's like, oh, you're nice, and you're handsome, and you're funny.
Like that time I yelled at Elizabeth Moss because we were freezing our asses off and she was taking too fucking long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cruel.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, I love it. It feels bad to say just Crowley without saying Aziraphale, because they're two halves of the same coin.
Yes, and they were both fantastic, but I will always pick David Tennant no matter what.
So your favorite was David Tennant, not necessarily Crowley.
Well, I guess. I don't know if Crowley was played by someone else, if he would still be my favorite. I am unaware.
True. That's a good point.
Because I can't picture it played by someone else.
Yeah. Well, and also Aziraphale. I can't picture Aziraphale as anyone other than Michael Sheen, especially now. And I read the book before I saw the show, but I didn't really have any strong... I think I'd already seen production photos from the show, so I was like, it's David Tennant and Michael Sheen.
Them, yeah.
But they did perfectly, and I feel like I do have to pick them as the pair. They were the main protagonists, and they complemented each other so well.
Yeah.
And I love that they're like still super good friends now.
Yeah.
They do so much stuff together now. It's adorable.
I love that.
Do you have a favorite scene? Because I know mine already. While you're thinking, I'll do mine. Mine is in the 3rd episode is when they're doing all the flashbacks of all the times that Crowley and Aziraphale have interacted through history. So they do the Garden of Eden and Noah's Ark. Mm-hmm. And they do... Like
Christ being put up on the cross.
They do the Globe Theater. Mm-hmm. And that's when they make their deal of... They do it more bluntly in the books, but the deal is, okay, so you're supposed to do something good in London, and I'm supposed to do something bad in London, but I have a thing I want to go to, so why don't you just do both things, and then I'll cover the next one? Because we have to have a good thing and a bad thing happen. So just you cover me. And then I'll cover for you. What, are they going to double check us? No. They haven't done it in 800 years. So that's when they strike up their deal in the Globe Theater. Or they make their deal that Crowley will help Hamlet become a big play if he helps out and helps, like, something burn down or something. I forget what Aziraphale's part of it is. But my favorite one is when Aziraphale thinks he's working against the Nazis. And it's Mark Gatiss as one of the Nazis who plays Mycroft Holmes in the BBC Sherlock. Amongst other things, he's a fantastic actor. And he thinks that he's got the girl on his side, and then she turns out to be a double agent. And then you just hear David Tennant go like, ooh, ta, ah, and he can't walk in the church because it's consecrated ground. So he's like hopping on each foot like, oh, that burns. Oh my, Angel, you need to get out of here. What are you doing? Why are you making deals with Nazis? There's going to be a bomb that's going to land here. We need a miracle to get out of this. We should be running. And it's the whole time, like, everyone is just like, who are you? What are you talking about? And he's like bouncing on one foot and then the other because it burns him to be on consecrated ground.
Because he's in the church. I love that. Yeah, that was really good. I can't remember a specific scene, but him just driving through fire with his car just written up like he's like fucking Ghost Rider or some shit. Like, that's
the
really
Bentley.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about the costume design for Aziraphale and Crowley?
I thought it was beautiful. And, like, obviously very on the nose where the angel's wearing white and the demon's wearing black. But I thought it was nice because...
Aziraphale, for the most part... They
started getting grayer as the time went on.
Yeah.
The more... Because, like, in the very beginning, Aziraphale was in bright whites. And Crowley was in deep blacks.
Dark blacks.
But as the timeline got on, the whites started going more eggshelly and creamy.
Yeah.
And a little more grays. And the black started becoming more gray and a little more silver.
Yeah. And also, too, both of them kind of... They copy the style of the time. Mm-hmm. Which is really, really interesting. But Aziraphale always kind of stands out. Like, he's always a little overdressed.
Old-timey.
Yeah, and he always gives that impression, even in the modern-day setting where he's in a three-piece suit.
Yeah.
Whereas, and you see it more with David Tennant's hair. Crowley wholeheartedly takes any fashion trend. When he's in Rome, he's got the curly hair. When they're at the Globe, he's got the mustache and the beard, and he kind of looks like your ex. When he's in the 60s and the 70s, he's got the bad mustache. Yeah. He adapts his look. The long hair look is, I think, the best for me. But yeah. I think it's so funny. He had so many wigs. The best costume, obviously, was when they were watching over Baby Warlock and David Tennant was like fucking Mary Poppins. Oh my God. He's like, I heard you needed a nanny. Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously the best outfit.
That was wonderful, yeah.
For sure, yeah. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we get into the why I thought you'd like it?
It was just wonderful. It was very clever. Mm-hmm. It was just wonderfully written and acted, and just overall, if you haven't watched it, it's, again, short. It's 6 episodes. They're an hour long. Go spend 6 hours in this world. It's fun. I know it's about heaven and hell and religion and whatever. It's fun.
It's
y'all.
fun.
It's not heavy-handed.
No.
It's not. Don't let anyone tell you it is a heavy-handed. It's about the apocalypse. No.
You need to go into it more of it's a Neil Gaiman project more than it's a commentary on Christianity.
It's a work of fiction.
It's obviously a work of fiction.
It's fun.
But go into it more of it's not a theological breakdown as much as it is by the author of Coraline. Like it's more fantasy than it is anything else. And it's a type of fantasy that I really enjoy, which is like a magical realism. So you have ordinary people in this movie, in the show. Pulsifer. He's just a guy who's really bad at computers. And then you have angels and demons, and they coexist in this modern world. So that was one of the things that did it for me. Yeah. Also, David Tennant. Yeah, he's
David Tennant.
I see his name. I'm there for sure.
Almost always.
For sure.
I think there's very few things that David Tennant would do that I'd be like, no.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think. I really don't think there's anything, unless. If he ran for prime minister, I'd still be like, I'm not a citizen, but I'll vote for you. Like,
are you accepting new citizens?
I need asylum.
I definitely need asylum. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just discussed why you think I like it. It's magical realism, and I'm a big fan of that. Mm-hmm. Any other comments before we let them go?
I don't know. It's just real good, and I think everyone should watch it.
Yeah. And it was something great to watch. It's something good to watch alone, because that's how I originally watched it, was by myself. Mm-hmm. And it's also something good to watch in a group, because there's so many people that you recognize from different things. So, like, after we watched all of this, we watched a ton of Jack Whitehall's stand-up comedy, which is really fun, because it's really fun to see him go from, like, the sniveling coward to, like, talking shit about his dad.
Yeah, and
talking about his dad shitting.
And his comedy is really funny, because his comedy stems from his just misfortune in Hollywood.
Yeah, we watched that one.
And he is rich in misfortune in Hollywood.
He's doing a lot better though. So the show, The Travels with My Father, that's on Netflix, took off. So he's doing really well from that. And he's also one of the main actors in the new Jungle Cruise movie that's coming out, the Disney movie, with The Rock and Emily Blunt. So he's doing all right. It's picking up, for sure. But there's not a lot of Americans that know who Jack Whitehall is.
Yeah.
Which, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. John Hamm was the big draw for that.
Yeah, get to know him.
So, definitely. You can sponsor us anytime you want, Jack Whitehall. This is sponsored by Travels with My Father, a Netflix special. That's this week's episode of Me Versus You. We will be back next week with She Snapped. We've selected our movies. We just haven't completed that process yet. And honestly, like, it was more important to us to spend time together and talk about stuff rather than, like, allotting 5 hours of our day to watch movies and then analyze them. Which, while entertaining for us, we were like, or we could go do anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything.
Literally.
Like, let's go to a restaurant. Let's go get ice cream.
Let's go for a walk in the park.
Let's frolic through a lavender field. Like, we got shit we can do. We have alternatives now.
Go check out my Instagram. You will see the engagement photos. It's
beautiful. I'll copy some of them over.
Beautiful.
It's fun.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thanks to my boyfriend for taking our engagement photos.
Yeah, I 100% regret paying someone to make art for us, because now we just have engagement photos we can use.
Our logo is so cute.
Our logo is super cute, and I love it so much, but I'm like, why did I pay for this when I could have just had your boyfriend take photos of us, like, 6 months ago? Could have saved myself $35 whole.
Nah, whatever.
Nah, it's fine. I like our logo because I look skinny in it. Actually, she doesn't make me look skinny. Kudos to our Fiverr artist, but she makes my arms look buff.
She makes it look like balanced.
She makes me look like I could fucking tear you apart, and I respect that, because that is a goal. I believe your boyfriend and I established that my new fitness goal is to be able to crush a watermelon with my thighs.
All right.
Well, it's not I want to lose 5 pounds. It's I want to crush a watermelon with my thighs.
But we're starting with like a melon first, not just like, we're not going straight for watermelon.
I mean, we're going to start with like blueberries and then work our way up.
Okay.
Like one of those reverse baby announcement things.
Apple, pear.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
My baby is the size of an apple, and then I can crush an apple between my thighs. Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's a process. Are you gonna
send postcards out every time you can do it?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
That would get expensive and time consuming. And I need to spend more time like working out so I can do it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Me versus You. We will be back next week with She Snapped, and then we'll be back the following week with Mandy's comfort movies. Still not sure what she's gonna pick yet, but she's got plenty of time to make herself comfortable before she picks something.
Oh yeah.
Did you forget we do that now?
Shit. No, I have so many comfort movies. I just need to figure out what mood I'm gonna be in for what kind of comfort I need.
Maybe you need something after...
Because I'll need some sort of comfort when you're gone.
Yeah, after your biggest pain in the ass leaves.
Well, my second biggest pain in the ass.
Who's your first biggest pain in the ass? Oh, right. It's not me. The one time I'm happy to take second place.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for coming to this week's episode of Me versus You.
You can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter at Me versus You Podcast, or on Instagram at Me versus You Pod. Have a great time. Actually, I was reading an article that I have to post on our page, which was it's one of those cracked articles. It was what is the best Western of the 90s and why is it Tombstone? And then the subtitle is or Unforgiven. And it's 6 reasons why it's Tombstone and 6 reasons why it's Unforgiven. And I'm like, I didn't write this, but I definitely manifested this. It was definitely something I needed. And the universe knew I needed it and directed me towards that cracked article. I'm not even apologizing because I'm correct. Have fun being wrong. I maintain I'm correct.
Sure. I don't like Westerns.
That's a character default. That's not...
I am not saying that you're wrong.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying I don't like Westerns.
That's fine. My biggest point is that even if you don't like Westerns, Unforgiven is a better movie than The Ides of March.
We will revisit it on our reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And we will have this argument, I'm sure.
Every week until we do, yes. I'm glad we're on the same page. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Me versus You. We will be back next week with She Snapped.
Bye.
Bye.